What's Noi? I'm your host, Justin Jones. In this video series, we're keeping it simple. Quick conversations, fresh perspectives, and a look at what's really going on inside NeuGroup. In today's episode, I'm joined by my colleague, Julie Zawacki-Lucci, NeuGroup's head of marketing. Julie has a long history in treasury at companies including CVS Health and Hasbro, and also a history in other roles at NeuGroup, including peer group leader. Julie, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me, Justin.
Yeah, you're one of the people who helped encourage me to do this show in the first place, so I'm really glad that you're one of my first guests. I want to get into some of what you're doing at NeuGroup and some of the changes coming to our marketing strategy this year, but let's start by getting into your treasury origin story.
I joined Hasbro, which is a toy company, many years ago. And actually it was after I lived abroad in both London and in Dublin, Ireland. And after my travels came back and was contacted about a position in a treasury department. And I had no plans of ever going into finance. And in talking to the woman who pulled me in, who continues to be a mentor to this day, she said, background in finance will never hurt you. You will always need to know about finance, no matter what field you go into. And the rest is history. I was fascinated about how our day-to-day decisions were being pushed by what was happening all over the world, and having to understand, the economics in Europe to be able to make better decisions here with our cash, with how we were managing our foreign exchange exposure. I really enjoyed it, and I was lucky that I worked with people who were willing to teach me everything they know, and have me, sit at their desks and ask all the questions that I could ask. And every challenge I wanted to become involved in, I was allowed to become involved in.
In your role in treasury, that's sort of how you got in touch with NeuGroup, right?
Absolutely.
How did that help you come up the curve?
It was, and I tell people this now, internally here. When I was allowed to go to a NeuGroup meeting, it was an indication that the treasurer was comfortable with me speaking in public and speaking about what we did and how we did it, and for me that was almost like a promotion that I was able to go represent the company and talk about our strategic hedging program and really understand where we could use NeuGroup to apply, a type of comp or analysis to support various recommendations on the initiatives we were working on for the treasurer, for the CFO.
So when you first joined NeuGroup, you joined as a peer group leader, which helps to organize our different groups, whether they're based by company size, like our mega cap group, or sector, like our life sciences treasurers group. You help to run the meetings and facilitate connections between peers. But recently you've taken over as the head of marketing. I'm wondering how your treasury experience prepared you for both of those roles, and sort of what that transition has been like for you.
Before I answer that, I actually started as head of research.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved over.
I'm wrong.
That's okay. That's okay. I started as head of research, and it really, I was worried about the move. I was so worried about the move. I was worried that I was leaving treasury, and that at that time, I was no longer with Hasbro. I was with another company, and I was worried that I was leaving a career that I had worked so hard for, and really pushing ahead. But it was the best thing. It was the best decision. Coming in as so engrossed in the research, stretching across the network, I exponentially boosted my understanding of treasury. There's an opportunity to move over to being a peer group leader, and I was more. I was nervous again. And nervous again because I saw myself as someone who liked being behind the scenes, and then I realized that I love being somewhat of a talk show host.
And welcome to my show then.
Right? Doesn't I love the microphone, love asking people questions, love learning about people. I got to ask treasurers why they think the way they do. You don't really, in the corporate world, when you're being very buttoned up, can't just ask a treasurer why she or he made that
True.
decision, and and
Right.
and then facilitate a conversation around sometimes doubts that go into decisions, and matching peers and members up with each other for more conversations. And those conversations are based on learning more about the topic, and I'm kind of along for the ride. So it's just it's been a whirlwind over 10 years now, but the amount of learning that's happened that has happened for me, but that I've been a part of, and I've seen and really grow our member base as well as our members professionally, has been very rewarding.
Yeah, I really like what you said there, because I feel like the best NeuGroup sessions, in my experience covering them as a writer, are the ones where a member presents a problem and then shares how they solved it. And then the other people in the room sort of get a perspective on not just what problems their peers face, but also how they overcome it and what the outcome of that is. And I think that that's usually the easiest and clearest and best article I can write from a meeting, is when those kind of things come up. So that brings us to marketing, which is this post-meeting or even pre-meeting product of communication, right?
Yeah.
NeuGroup needs to be good at communicating to our members what these members are, or what these meetings are going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and what members will get from them. So how do you make that transition from planning these meetings to communicating them and getting the word out about them?
I look at things and these guideposts through a member lens. I put on my former member hat and try to think of what I would have wanted to make NeuGroup better, and to make my experience with NeuGroup better. And what, I use that as well as my interactions with members as a peer group leader to really make the strategic map. We will be launching a new website, a new member community page, and eventually, possibly an app that members can use, so that, as we're remote, we're moving around, people are on their phones, scroll the community page. Why not? Right? It's
Why not?
There's a lot there. One of the most powerful offerings that we have for members is the ability to connect with each other and to brainstorm with each other, and apply a think tank approach in some ways to a lot of their challenges at their home away from home. And so, we are going to be rolling out more ways for that to happen, so that the value that members receive, the value that sponsors receive as well, is easier. It's
Right.
easier. It's more accessible, and that they're really, really immersed in what we see as tremendous value.
So what I've noticed from your story, whether it's bouncing from treasury to NeuGroup, or research to PGL, or PGL to marketing, is you're always challenging yourself. Even within marketing, you're challenging yourself to sort of overhaul how we communicate with members and how we get the word out. I know that you're a big time runner. You run marathons, you run very long distances. How does this drive to challenge yourself connect from your personal life to your professional life?
That's a loaded question.
That's all we do here on What's Noise, loaded questions.
I guess so. There's I've run 8 marathons, and I countless half marathons, and I love it. I love running. I love pushing. I mean, both. It's both for mental clarity and my serenity, but also, why not? Why see how far you can go, and see how far you can push, and see how great you can become.
When you're coming on that last mile or two and the self-doubt's telling you to give up, what's the song you hit play on to push you through?
Justin, I know this is going to surprise people. I know it will. And maybe lose the Pollyanna image I have in some places, but there's some Rage Against the Machine happening. And that was my favorite last mile. Killing in the Name. Just last mile push.
Is it the drums? What gets you going?
There are some choice words. But yeah, but it's definitely the beat. It's definitely the build, definitely the beat. And God, even is just sometimes when I'm going through speed training for these races, it's like it's some a song like that, or there's some other songs that really are just driving that speed where I don't know, not that you're channeling anger, but that you're channeling that, I can. Don't tell me I can't. And don't tell yourself you can't. Like it sounds a little bit hokey, but the part of the challenge that I find in running is not just physical; it's mental, and overcoming that is a very powerful thing, no matter how fast you are.
I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for talking to me, Julie. I really appreciate it.